FNAF has been going for nearly a decade.
And with all that time comes a lot of lore.
But not all of that lore is clear, as we all know.
But the confusing story doesn't excuse the moments that should just be, well,
impossible. Those are what we're exploring today. Let's do it. In its 10, FNAF AR. While the concept of FNAF AR is already insane, it only gets worse the more you actually look at things from an outsider's perspective, as if you were a character in the FNAF world instead of just someone trying to solve it. Since for someone inside the Fazbear universe, these dudes are absolutely psychotic, and it works out for them. Shipping out animatronics that they know are dangerous, only for them to get rewarded with literally us paying them for them to ship us these deadly animatronics, and then we have to fend for ourselves as we try to, not die. And then they're even shipping out multiple different versions of the serial killer that ruined their reputation in the first place, that caused multiple establishments to burn down just by being there. Like I've said countless times on this channel, you go to your competitors, or you do that at like the McDonald's play place. Okay, you do it, you do find a better location for your little killing spree there, Willie. Alright? You have kids. You can use them as an excuse to be at those locations. Plus, you have a play place that isn't gonna get your kid's head crushed by a giant robot, okay? Come on. You wouldn't even need to stuff the people away. You can just leave. Alright, come on. You could even get a robot Ronald that kills people, and then everyone will blame McDonald's and not you. If a robot Ronald showed up, I'm sure a minimum wage worker would be like, alright, whatever. They wouldn't care. God, you're stupid.
Number 9, Burntrap. How is Burntrap? That is the question that keeps me awake at night. How does Burntrap exist? When William Afton said he always comes back, he seems to have seriously meant that. What's more remarkable is this isn't the only time that William has returned from the dead. The man is oddly unkillable. Why does Burntrap not make sense to me? Well, there are a few reasons. One, I just think William should seriously be dead at this point. Come on. He's had his day in the dark. Move over and let someone else play the role of the villain. There's basically nothing left of him at this point, and I don't know how he's still shambling around if he was, at some point engulfed in flames, if that did happen, and if he was actually engulfed in flames and that wasn't some imposter or FNAF 6 wasn't set in some kind of alt reality or a meta game like FNAF VR, then why are only some of his parts replaced? Doesn't really make a lot of sense. This version of Afton seems to be a more tarnished Scraptrap, which implies that Vanny kinda did the bare minimum to fix up his old body and then upload Glitchtrap's mind into it. But at that point, why wouldn't you just give him a new body? I don't know. There are a lot of things about Burntrap that just don't make sense to me.
And it ain't Scraptrap. Irony right there. What the hell happened to Springtrap between games to cause Scraptrap even, okay? Sure, he was burnt in FNAF 6, maybe he kinda melted, but we see him alive and not damaged in Sister Location after the Night 7 cutscene. So where did all this additional damage and all this additional modification come from? The head somehow becomes larger, so do the feet, he loses an arm and then gains it back with Burntrap, but also it's not a new addition because, his arm was put back on and then has the tendons within that arm. I genuinely don't know how this would make any sense. Okay, we know that they're supposed to be the same person thanks to Ultimate Custom Night's voice lines, but I was so confused as to how this could have happened until it dawned on me recently. In my What If Golden Freddy Was a Hallucination video, I talked about what that would mean for FNAF 4 and how it would have had to be a game made by Scott's in-universe version since the nightmare aesthetic could have been to avoid copyright issues, and considering how everyone who should have known about the scrap animatronics should have died at the end of Pizzeria Simulator, but then they show up in later games like Ultimate Custom Night, it makes me think that those characters are also video game characters, and that the discrepancies between Springtrap to Scraptrap to Burntrap could just be because Scraptrap is another way to avoid copyright. God, this is so convoluted and stupid, it makes me genuinely upset. I had to keep myself from crying out during Amanda's number so I could just say please when she was saying that William should die. Please, kill him. Brutally. Let me do it. Let me be the one to do it. I want to put the knife into his...
Number 7, Cursed to Live. Yeah, why isn't this guy dead? There's many... Why is this? Anyways, one of the weirdest twists to me in the books is the idea that William Afton was basically like cursed to continue to live, condemned to this fate by the vengeful spirit of his victim Andrew, supposedly. This is how, even after being severely burned in what I assume is supposed to be implied as the events of Fazbear Fright or something similar to that in the book universe, William continued to live. But if you know someone is inclined to murder people, why would you ever curse them with this? Why would you do that? Makes no sense. Sure, they might suffer, that's probably true, but they also might end up, I don't know, killing again? Which kinda seems like what William was trying to do in the books. It just seems like a bad idea to me, and I feel like we shouldn't do it. We should just let him die. You should curse him to die, actually. I'd like to curse him to die. I would do it, personally, if I were a victim. I'd be like, you know what? You're out. Actually, I curse you to die so that Vanny can take over. That's my curse.
And at 6, time. The time scaling in this series has always been questionable. However, the real issue that I have is just how inconsistent it is within Security Breach specifically, okay? Like, I understand it needs to progress for the story, that's fine, but like, I'd actually played 8 hours of this game and somehow it wasn't 6 AM yet in game, alright? That kind of annoys me. But it's not the same with real world time. And that remains true for basically any game, but then when you're in like the last 10 minutes, the home stretch before the daycare attendant gets you and you're able to escape, you've not even been in for like 5 minutes, and then it's supposed to be 10 minutes. Like, come on, at least give me 10 real minutes so that I can figure out what the hell I'm supposed to do. I also wish that they had gone with the idea that I had about like having an ending where you just waited until 6. I wish that was an option, because seemingly in this game time stops if you're not progressing the story. My entire playthrough of the game on my channel, I played for like 8 or 9 hours. So I could have only been playing for 6. I could have saved 3 hours of my life. I could have saved 3 hours of torture, but no. And if you just stay in one place, even though time is really passing, in game, it doesn't. What?
Number 5, Pizzeria Simulator. If everyone is supposed to perish at the end of Pizzeria Simulator, how are we still going here? How is William still alive? How are possibly the other animatronics still alive in the amalgamated version of the Blob, if that's what that is? Weren't their souls supposed to have been freed? And if they were, what's keeping them alive? Did this game even really happen? Or is it set in another universe? Or is it supposed to be an in-world game like Help Wanted? I have no answers for you, I only have questions.
And at 4, stuffed. Okay. Straight up, how the absolute living hell did William end up getting away with putting the missing children inside of the animatronics? The smell of rotting bodies would ruin the place, and you know, we've had reports where they say it did. The heat from the animatronic insides moving around would speed up decomp, and the animatronics are in front of people every single day. People started complaining that they were leaking mucus and blood, as well as being compared to the smell of dead bodies. If this was real life and William getting away with this crap wasn't important to the actual story, he would have been caught instantly. Okay, it was also pointed out to me in the comments that Foxy has holes in his stomach. How would you not be able to see a kid in there? Okay, you would literally see the child unless you carved out holes of the body, but then at that point you might as well just bury them. So while yes, originally we're supposed to be told, or we're led to believe that Afton put the bodies in the animatronics, it's basically impossible for that to actually make sense given everything else that we've learned since then. God! Just explain it in the movie, please, okay? Tell me. Tell me how. Was it the discs? Was it the sound discs? I don't know.
Number 3, Golden Fazerblast. There are many things that don't make sense about FNAF. Even just within the game Security Breach, there are like a ton. One of these many different things includes if you end up getting the Golden Fazerblast. Retrieving this item first means that you can use it in the game, and chiefly you can use it to shoot at the staff bots that walk around the Pizzaplex in search of you with their flashlights. Shooting them in the eyes will basically temporarily disable them as long as you shoot them right in the eyes, blinding them in essence by discombobulating their sensors and thereby allowing you to escape them. Sure, I mean that kind of makes sense. However, it doesn't make a ton of sense when you consider that the Fazerblasters and these staff bots were both made by Fazbear Entertainment. Which would mean that I guess they made these Fazerblasters knowing that they could be used to cause chaos with the staff bots. Now that seems pretty silly considering that when you win the Fazerblaster minigame, you are awarded a golden one as though this is a prize that's commonly given out to winners. Which means there's just a bunch of kids running around the Pizzaplex that could be messing up all the staff bots. Okay, sure.
But ultimately, in at number 2, possession rules. In the FNAF universe, everything is very interesting, but specifically possession, because it's not something that we fully understand, but the things we do know are weird. Like the couple of things like how agony is the most powerful of the emotions, and it's supposed to stretch out from the body further than anything else. But we also don't really know if agony grabbing on to something is what we would call possession. Like we don't know if they're the same thing or if they're separate. We also don't know if when you die, if it's your remaining agony, or if that's supposed to be your spirit. We also don't know about any other rules, if there are any. Hey, like, do you need to be close to the thing that you're possessing? Assuming that possession and agony are different, because if it's agony then you would have to be close to it because it has to reach out. But yeah, we know very little about the actual rules, and it's going to stay that way, I'm guessing, because I mean, if we have the rules, then Scott's limited with what he can do, and if we're not, then he can just say, screw you, this is my world. Kind of like God.
Number 1, Glitchtrap. On our previous list, Connor focused on FNAF VR, and we also talked about it on this list as well. But now I want to zoom in on just Glitchtrap's existence in this game, and in the FNAF world in general. Glitchtrap is possibly one of the most confusing iterations of William Afton for me. This is a version of his consciousness that was somehow downloaded into FNAF VR, or uploaded I guess into FNAF VR, through a computer chip. Like, sorry, what? There is a lot of suspension of disbelief that you have to do to make that make any amount of sense. And even then, it's still pretty weird. Even if you can somehow be like, okay, you know what? Yeah, sure, that happened. Why was his consciousness in a chip? I mean, I know he's like an immortal being at this point, but I'm pretty sure he was still a man with a brain in a suit. Even if he was kinda like undead, like kinda like a zombie. How did his consciousness move onto a chip? And why did they find Springtrap and think, oh yeah, dead man in a suit, that'll be a great addition to this game? I know it's supposed to be capitalizing on the tragedies and controversy surrounding FNAF and turning it into a game, but I mean, still, I feel like you would draw the line at taking the chip from a suit that literally has a human corpse in it. That's just me. I don't know. I don't run any successful restaurant kids entertainment chains, so maybe I'm the crazy person. Well, as I hear the sirens coming now, that's all the time we have for this video.
Hope you enjoyed questioning your sanity.
And we'll see you again soon, I'm sure.
Well, maybe her. They're
Maybe
here.
not him.